This is Margaret Knoll with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you are watching the Video Voters Guide or listening to the podcast. We are here today to talk with candidates running in the May 19th, 2026 primary election. We are grateful for the support of the Carolyn Velma Sailing Foundation, the Weiss Foundation, the Sarah Fruings Fund, and members of the League of Women Voters of Portland, and our media partner, Metro East Community Media. With me is Brian Evans, who is currently auditor for Metro and who is running for re-election to become Metro Auditor again. Welcome, Auditor Evans.
Thank you, Margaret. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to respond to your questions.
Thank you for being here. Our first question is very simple. Please tell us about yourself and why you are running for re-election.
Yeah, thanks for that question. My name is Brian Evans. As Margaret said, I'm the elected Metro Auditor. I've lived in the Portland Metro region for almost 30 years. I have a master's degree from the University of Wisconsin-Madison and a bachelor's degree from Lewis and Clark College here in Portland. I'm a certified internal auditor and a certified government auditing professional. Those are two key certificates that are critical for being elected auditor and also show my dedication to the profession. I have 18 years of government auditing experience, and I've been the elected auditor since 2015. Prior to my election as the auditor and prior to working as an auditor, I worked at the state's Economic Development Agency, Business Oregon, and I was an AmeriCorps member before that. And I'm running for re-election because I'm passionate about government transparency and accountability. I have the skills and experience to create positive change for the public in this region, and I'm excited to continue working on those efforts for the next 4 years.
Thank you. What, if any, changes would you support to the Metro Auditor's budget?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I know budgets are a big concern among many offices and local governments and governments across the region. This year, I'm not proposing any changes to the auditor's budget. I think the challenges that local governments are having with balancing budgets makes this a bad time to ask for more right now. And so my hope is that this year can be primarily focused on stabilizing local service efforts and shoring up budgets at the local level so that the region can grow in the future. In future years, I plan to seek at least one additional full-time auditor position, but I don't think this is the year to do that.
What, if any, changes would you support to the scope of the auditor's authority?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not proposing any changes for my audit authority this year. As voters may know, the Metro Charter limits me from taking on what are called executive or management functions for the organization. And that is a provision that helps ensure the independence of my office as well as the objectivity of the audits we produce. So basically to prevent us from auditing ourselves and telling us that we're doing a great job. There is a downside to that, which is that sometimes we can't move as quickly or take on actions that we would want to with the information we know. So we have to rely on our audit recommendations and management's responsiveness to those to take action. That said, in the past, I have considered amendments to Metro's charter when I saw weaknesses, particularly with lobbyist registrations and other things related to Metro's code of ethics. At that time, I decided not to pursue a charter amendment, but it's something that I considered, and it's something that we were able to get some better improvements in those areas by issuing an audit and making recommendations.
In what outreach efforts would you engage to keep your constituents informed of the Metro Auditor's activities and your choices?
That is a great question, and one that, being an auditor and working at Metro, is one that is constantly on my mind, because Metro is known for some things, but not well known across the region for all the things that it does. And so half the challenge is reminding folks that Metro is not the city of Portland, and it's not Multnomah County. And so making sure that it's clear where Metro and my office works is really always a constant thing on my mind. So couple of the ways that I try to make sure constituents are aware of what we're up to is that all of our audit reports are publicly available and on our website. So you can go on the OregonMetro.gov website and see every audit we've ever produced, including management's response, follow-up audits. We also really value transparency and public ability to see our work when we present our audits. So we present to the Metro Council in public meetings, as well as other governance bodies. And then we also publish the schedule of what our office is up to for the year and the status of those audits on our website. And then just in general, I consider myself a servant leader. So I'm really here to serve the public. And that means if you call or email me or see me on the streets, I'm more than willing to talk about concerns you have or answer questions about Metro or the auditor's office. I'm very responsive, and I genuinely open to feedback. And then we also have a social media presence where we post on LinkedIn, Blue Sky, and X when we release audits or when we have new information to share with the public.
You are listening to the League of Women Voters of Portland Video Voters Guide, or to our podcast, and we are talking with Brian Evans, Auditor Brian Evans, who is running for re-election as Metro Auditor. So our next question is, if you believe the character of a candidate should be evaluated by a voter, how do you suggest the voter do that?
That is another great question. I definitely think character matters in elected leadership. I also know that voters have different values that they bring when they evaluate character and to figure out what they value in this position. For my position, we're often making recommendations to management when things aren't going right. And so to have credibility in that space, we need to be professional. We also need to walk our talk. So that means we look for ways to make our own operations in the auditor's office efficient, effective, more equitable. And then we seek ways to have continuous improvement each year so that we're staying on the cutting edge of audit work and bringing the skills and knowledge necessary to have credible information.
Thank you so much. We are concluding here the Video Voters Guide and podcast interview of the League of Women Voters of Portland with Auditor Brian Evans, who is running again for the position of Metro Auditor. Election Day is Tuesday, May 19th. To find additional election resources, including online identifications of other candidates and ballot measures on which you may be able to vote, please visit the League of Women Voters of Portland website, lwvpdx.org, or vote411.org, and then exercise your right to vote. Ballots will be mailed starting on April 30th. For your vote to be eligible to be counted, your ballot must be received by the Multnomah County Elections Office no later than Election Day. And it could be received in one of the official ballot drop boxes no later than 8 p.m. on Election Day. We strongly suggest that if you use the United States Postal Service to mail your ballot, that you mail it no later than May 12th, a week before the election. Your voice and your vote matter. Please vote. Thank you for listening.